Hey guys, back again with another F1 2021 setup video, and this time we're at Australia. Now, Australia may well have been cancelled on the real calendar, but it's still a fun track to drive and I'm glad they've kept it in F1 2021. It's a track that, with the improvements that are going to be made to it, it'll be much better, but for now we're stuck with last year's iteration of the track, which is still good to drive. And it's a circuit which is violent, if anything. The curbs are generally quite high, which you have to ride over, and the corners are fast and aggressive. You have to really throw your car into some of the corners and trust that it will stick, meaning we need a really great, balanced and stable setup. So jumping into the setup itself, starting with the aero, I've gone for a generally high aero setup here. Some people like their aero lower at Australia, and some people even prefer a rear focus setup, but I've gone higher on the front wing at 10 and lower on the rear at 8. This will give you a pointy car which is willing to turn into corners and hit apex as well, which is great because then you can focus on the corner exit instead, which is crucial around Australia because there are a few medium to long straights with a few different overtaking opportunities. By having a front wing aero which is higher, it means you can throw your car into the corners and it will generally respond and go the direction you point it. Moving on to the transmission, the on-throttle diff is just a battle of how high you can get away with. In an ideal world, we'd run a really high on-throttle diff of 80 plus, even 90 potentially, but there are a few corners that prevent us from doing that. Both the middle and last sector have corners which are a little bit slower, which means we need to focus a little bit on our traction out of corners, which is why I've gone for a 78%, relatively balanced. Then the off-throttle diff, go with 58% for some good rotation and stability. With the suspension geometry, I've gone closer to max on front and rear camber than some tracks. Go with minus 2.6 and minus 1.3. This will give you a car which you can really lean on, and when you're taking the corners at medium to high speed like you will be at Australia, this is pretty crucial. Then for the toe, go with 0.07 at the front and 0.2 at the rear. This will help a little by limiting drag, which in turn will potentially increase your top speed. Then for the suspension, I've gone extremely soft on the front, which will help us over those curbs a little bit. As I said at the beginning, the curbs are pretty violent here, so you want a car which can really handle them well. So go 1 and 5 on your suspension setup, and then with a focus on stability and overall balance, I've gone with 6 and 2 on your anti-roll bars. Finally, go with 3 and 7 on the ride height, which is designed to allow us enough clearance to really attack the curbs. For the brake setup, I've gone 97% brake pressure and 56% brake bias. Again, this is pretty standard across most of my setups, as I do generally like my car to brake pretty consistently track to track. And then for the tyres, I've gone a little bit lower pressures on the front than I do the rears, but all tyres are pretty close to max. Go 24.2 on the fronts and 23.1 on the rears. I've set up the tyres in this way to give you almost the best responsiveness you can get out of your car, although I've had to come away from max a little bit just to aid tyre wear during a race. And that rounds out our Australian F1 2021 car setup. This should give you a car which you're confident enough on to attack every corner, and one that can really ride the curbs well, and you shouldn't really find the rear end letting go on you at all. If you enjoyed this setup, drop the video a like, let me know how you get on in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell to be alerted when the next F1 2021 setup videos drop.